Hello guys.
Hi guys.
So we are here again with our free immigration advice live stream. Thank you very much for joining us again. Apologies for the slight delay. As usual, as you're used to, we'll start slowly. Please give us a couple more minutes just to make sure that everyone is connected and that everything is ready. Please let us know if you can hear us, if you can see us well, if everything is going well.
Yeah, if you're wondering why I have my PC or my computer here, it's because this is how I see if you are connected, this is how I see if you write us any messages. So it's not like I want to be somehow hidden from you, it's because I want to see how we communicate, because we record on a different device and it's just technologically very challenging. So that's why I have my PC here. Please, people who already connected with us, let us know if you can hear us well and see us well. It will help a lot. Both from having our live streams on Facebook and we're having it on Instagram too. So let us know how you can see us and feel us and see us and hear us, please. Thanks.
Yeah. So we'll finish writing on the board here, a couple more things. We'll just wait for more of you to connect, and then we'll start the main topic of today, which is the business visa. Maybe in the beginning we'll mention a couple things about the current situation, like the corona situation here, and if you need to wear masks or not, what are the current rules. And then we'll start with the main topic, which is the business visa.
Yeah, if you've seen a few videos with us before, you know that we started the live stream series during the COVID crisis, during the quarantine. We used to have them before, but now it became more frequent. So what we do during those, we just give you the updates about your rights, about how different authorities work, about the quarantine itself, about wearing of mask, about where you can and cannot travel, everything of this kind. And also we talk about the visa status, so like the embassies, which embassies work, which embassies don't work, which accept applications, what kind of applications, what are the new rules, how the Ministry of Interior works, how the foreign police works. And now if you could see, probably we're having one live stream a month when we just this open session. When we have some structure, we'll present some information with you, but then it's open for your questions. So if you have a question during our live stream, let us know. This particular live stream is devoted to the business visa, so you can see, I hope. So this is primarily about how to get the business visa to the Czech Republic, which documents you need, how to apply, what are different types of visas. So this is what we're going to be talking today about. If you have a question about it, shoot. If you have a question about something else, if you have time, we'll be very happy to answer this too. So please leave the questions there, and we'll for sure get back to them. Maybe not right away, maybe if we are in the middle of something, we'll just finish it. Or for example, if your question is about something we know we're going to talk about in 5 minutes, we will just get back to this question afterwards, okay? We'll also try to always look at the chat and always write there also like what we're talking about and when was your question answered. We're going to do the same on Instagram. If you don't follow us and follow Instagram, on Facebook and Instagram, please follow us. And yeah, Jan has just finished writing on the board. We have a few people here connected, so we'll slowly start. And thank you very much for your feedback already. Thank you that you confirm that you can hear us and see us well. As you know, you never know. I can see already questions. Great, thank you so much. We will for sure get back to them as soon as possible after a small introduction. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So if in case for the newcomer connected to us, or maybe you never seen us before, this is Jan. My name is Darian. We are the co-founders and co-owners of Move to Prague, relocation experts, and your first friends in Prague. We established our company in 2012 in order to help our fellow expats and people move into Prague, and we are dealing with any kind of immigration and real estate issues people might face. Yep. And we just love what we do. So it's like the support you're giving us during the COVID period, and people connecting, writing to us. You even like send us postcards and chocolates and everything. It's just so rewarding, and it makes us feel very connected to you. So thank you so much for your support and you being with us just during the period now. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for connecting. Even if you don't have a question, just say hi. So we know so many of you, maybe we never met in person, but for sure like we met maybe online or during like in email, we talked on the phone.
Yep.
And just be sure that we remember every single one of you we talk with, really.
That's true, that's true. Yeah, everything here is, maybe you can slowly like get into it. Like like March and April, that was really tough because of the COVID situation and everything. Now things are getting kind of back to normal and more of you are moving to the Czech Republic. Embassies are opening more. Of course, some of the embassies are still closed, so not everywhere it's possible to apply for visas or residence permits. But most of the embassies are already either fully operational or they accept at least some applications like student visas or family reunification visas or some types of employee cards. So everything is kind of getting back to the situation before COVID. There are still some issues and still some like limitations, but we hope that it will only get better from now on. Maybe Daria will tell you more about the current or what's planned for September from this perspective, and then we'll get to the main topic.
Yeah, how many of you who are watching are currently in the Czech Republic or in Prague? Let us know in the comments. If you are here, I'm sure you know that there already been some new regulations coming up from the 1st of September. I think it's just been announced a few days ago. So from the 1st of September, it's again obligatory to wear masks anytime you go inside transport or inside any building. So any kind of office, any kind of doctor's facility, pharmacy, anytime, any indoor space, doesn't matter how many people are there, you're supposed to wear a mask. Anytime you go to the tram, bus, metro, is that it? Yeah, taxi, you are supposed to wear a mask too. They're doing so in order to prevent the spreading of the virus, which can happen together with the cold and the flu season. So just for you to know, this is the proof. You can hear the bell. You can see our assistant running probably. This is the proof that it's all live and that this is not a recorded video. So you probably know that you will need to wear it from the 1st of September, and it's a precaution so it doesn't spread too much. So hopefully it's gonna be alright. And so I think as soon as they don't close the borders again, we're okay. I mean, like I will be very happy to wear a mask. I think it's great wearing masks as protection of other people, not only yourself. So I think it's a great thing. So just a small update. So far there's no other travel restrictions. It's always been updated every week or two. If you're interested, I can drop a link so you can see what I'm talking about. There's always official information. If you want some official information about where you can travel, how, if you need a quarantine, if you need a test to travel somewhere or to come back, you can find it in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website, which is mzv.cz. Let me drop it to the comments. This is how you will know there's always information in English, and it's updated like every week or every 2 weeks. So this is where you're gonna find if you can travel, how, and if you need to fulfill some tasks or quarantine.
Yep.
Now I think we'll be getting to our topic. Maybe we have the first question.
Yes, Emily asks, please talk about get start for English jobs in Prague in this condition, especially for someone who is from out of EU.
Great, yeah, so this is one, so we have a question on Instagram, I don't know if you could hear it, but this is something exactly we're going to cover today. So what we're going to cover today?
Today, we'll basically the main topic is the business visa. So in the beginning, we'll kind of cover what type of businesses you can run in the Czech Republic from the legal perspective. Then the most common, because we work with business visas a lot, and there are of course let's say fields of business that are always repeating, and most people come here as freelancers or business owners in those particular areas, so we'll cover those. Then we'll get to the process itself, like how it all works, how to apply, where to apply, and then we'll go through the documents one by one, and we'll tell you always about the documents and what is needed, and There are some interesting parts of the process as well, like for example, interview at the embassy where the officers there ask you questions about your business. So we'll get to that as well. So if you plan on getting the business visa for the Czech Republic, that this video or this live stream now, that's mainly for you who are here online, and because we can answer your questions in real time, which is always better than if you're just watching a video, but also for the people who are watching the video later on after the recording, that if you're applying for a business visa, that you get kind of a guide how to do it. Of course, if you think you would need some help with the process, we'll be happy to like have you as a client and help you get the business visa. But this live stream is about answering all the possible questions you might have and about giving you an idea about the business visa topic.
Yeah, maybe we can just answer the question on Instagram was about how to find jobs, especially the teaching jobs during the COVID crisis. Well, it's a little hard right now, but not a lot of places are hiring, especially on the trade license, unfortunately, because usually these businesses are also connected to companies, so it's not only that you teach individuals, but you also teach companies, and companies now are cutting any costs possible. So there are less jobs, but still there's a lot of our clients that are coming to Prague and coming to the Czech Republic, and they're still getting jobs. So in case you have experience in teaching, if you have experience in some other area and you want to find a job, it's still possible. It's still possible to find jobs. We have clients finding jobs every day, even now, so it should be alright. Maybe a little hard, it could take a little bit more time than usual, but it should be alright.
Yeah, the other thing or other side of the same coin is that many people also left Prague because of the uncertainty. They didn't know what would happen and how the situation would develop. So also many teachers left Prague. So of course, as Daria said, there are less jobs available because schools have less clients and it's just like that. But there are also less teachers because some of them left and some of them got a different type of job or how. Yeah, so definitely there are options. How to do it? Ideally, just get in touch with the schools directly, because it's the best. If you just go to the website of the school, usually they have some like contact forms there, or even like contacts to the HR or the person who's responsible for that. Because teaching English is quite a big business, I would say, in Prague, and there are plenty of TEFL courses. So people come here from all around the world, they go through the TEFL certifications, and usually that might be also another way if you don't have, I don't know who exactly asked and what's your situation, but if you don't have the TEFL certification, many of the programs in Prague, the TEFL programs, offer you help with finding jobs once you finish the course. So if you pass the examinations and you get the certificate, they also help you find jobs, because of course if they've been doing it for a couple of years, they have connections to schools and the schools know how well the teachers are prepared from the course. So it's always easier to do it this way. So if you don't have the certification, maybe a good way would be contacting some TEFL classes and go through them, because then they help you find a job. If you already have experience and the TEFL certification, it's usually the best to contact schools directly and yeah, directly.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions related to like the beginning, opening speech?
Well, we still have questions about how to open small cafe and restaurant business in Prague.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great question. We'll get back to it in a second. Then, how much investment requires to get a business visa? It's really important not to confuse the investment visa and the business visa. They are two different things. This is something we will cover exactly what documents you need to apply. And again, also the other question we have, what support can I get from you or from the government authorities or bank to start my business or investment? This is something also we'll cover in a second. It's a more broad question. I think it's better to explain it from the beginning, what exactly a business visa is. And the question we have about the funds too. I have trade license to work and I'm working and have sufficient income, but my visa is student visa and they ask for the funds to show an account. Is it possible to extend my student visa without funds showing an account? if you have a student visa, there are 2 ways now. They changed it before that in order to extend your student visa. You have to show that you have enough funds in your account. Now also, if you have some kind of job where you earn money every month, you can also show it the way that you show that you earn every month from the bank account, or if you do taxes from your last year. This is also how you can show how much money you have in your account, and you don't need to have this huge amount of money required in order to prolong your student visa to residency, I suppose.
Yep.
So this is another question. Maybe for this one, I would really advise you to get in touch with us, because we can send you exactly how much you need to earn and how much you need to show the ministry. So I really advise you to write to us directly, to just use like our DM message, and we will be happy to answer you that specific question.
Yep. Another question from Instagram?
Yeah, one more question. Good afternoon. If I may ask, could you please let us know about your commission when someone asks for your services? Thank you.
Well, about the price of our services, we offer a lot of services, so it depends exactly what you're asking, like what exactly you're interested in. The best way is to write us either in private messages on Instagram or Facebook, or write us at info@movetoprague.com. It's our general email. Just write us an email and ask directly what you're interested in, and we'll be very happy to send you a quote.
Yep.
Okay.
So let me maybe now take over. Let's first maybe answer the questions from the chat. So about support, what support you can get as a business owner in the Czech Republic, and how much money you need to invest. Okay, so maybe it's kind of important to understand the difference between a business visa and investment visa. Because in many countries you have programs like for investors, and if you invest some amount of money, you automatically get the residence permit, or somewhere if you invest enough, you even get the citizenship directly. So different countries have different programs. Czech Republic did not have the investment type of visa until recently. Now there is the option, but basically the investment type of visa requires you to officially the law says that it needs to be a significant investment. So I'm not really sure if there is any like specific limit, but it needs to be like, I would say at least in millions of crowns, maybe tens of millions. You need to be creating jobs not for Czechs, only for Czechs, but you need to be creating jobs. You need to have like really big plans. So it would not apply. The investment type of visa would very likely not apply to like a small cafe or to some smaller type of business. The law specifically says that it needs to be significant investment.
I think they even have some kind of like, I don't know about the money, but you can either have enough money invested, or you have to create, I suppose, 60 working places. If you're really interested in the investment visa, to drop us a message. It's not something we do every day, so that's why we always say it's better to find it out rather than just telling you like this and this and that, and then it's not going to be the truth. So write to us, we'll check it on it. It's easy to check, but it's either you invest significant amount of money, we're talking like millions of crowns, or creating. I think I remember it was creating at least 60 working places. So you can imagine how much money it is.
Yeah, this is aimed for like companies, international companies or bigger companies which want to really like invest money in the Czech Republic and move their businesses here. So that's the main purpose. The business visa is more focused like on freelancers, individuals, or like smaller companies. We'll explain why and what are the differences, but just wanted to mention this, that investment in the Czech Republic is slightly something different than the business visa. The investment is a very specific type of visa for bigger companies investing significant amount of money. For the support,
if we can support government or bank,
it very much depends on your situation. I would in general say that again, if you're like a significant investor, if you want to move here a branch, then of course all the governmental offices will be so happy to help you. If you're like a smaller business owner, not really. So yeah, we've been working, for example, with Czech Invest, and they do plenty of work, and they can even like do market analysis and stuff like that for you, sometimes even for free, and they try to interest companies to move to the Czech Republic, but this is only about like very, very significant amount of money, and big companies moving here, moving headquarters here, investing like a lot of money. It's not like for private or individuals. I don't think that maybe there are some like programs of support for such, but I'm definitely not aware of them, because the main focus of such programs in the Czech Republic are for the big companies.
Yeah, we have also a few questions about opening cafe or restaurant. I think it's a great question. We have one from Yonhai Lee. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. If I'm not, let me know. Hi, cooking is my hobby. Is a chef experience or culinary certification essential to open a bistro in Czech Republic? Is it possible to open a bistro without it? And another one before that, if you could open a cafe, I just searched somewhere, yeah, small restaurant from Manish Sharma, how to start small cafe or restaurant business in the Czech Republic. Just quick note on that.
Yeah, we'll get through because if you're, I guess that the first question from Young Haley, sorry if you mispronounce it, sorry for that. That seems like you are already in the Czech Republic, so this might be slightly easier for you. We'll get to I'll get to the certifications in a second. But in general, you don't need to think about the visa. If you already have, I don't know, a family reunification visa or student visa, and you want to open a cafe as a side thing, basically you will just need to get the trade license and the certifications and everything. But you don't need to worry about the business visa process. If the other question was maybe from someone who is not in the Czech Republic, and in that case you would need to go through the whole visa process, and there are a couple things which will make it more complicated. So we'll get to the business visa process in a second. So we will answer the questions about the cafe and how to do that and everything there as well, because it's related to the business, let's say, interview and the purpose of your stay here and proving that you have a good business idea. But for the cafe, if you're already in the Czech Republic, I'll explain in a second. There was another question on Instagram.
Yeah, Emily asks, which jobs in Czech are high demanded?
Okay, we'll get back to that.
Yeah, in a second.
So I'll just demand it. Okay, so just to finish the topic about restaurants, and the main thing is that you need to get a trade license. There are two types of trade licenses. Okay, let's maybe do it a different way. We'll cover that in a second, because we'll get into the first topic, like the two ways of doing business in the Czech Republic. So we'll cover the restaurant topic there as well. Sorry for the confusion. Restaurant. And we can answer this question from Emily. Sorry.
Yeah, for the jobs, but the jobs now probably is elsewhere. Just anything that happens online, there's a huge demand for IT jobs. Well, now any demand of jobs is a little smaller than it used to be, let's face it. But generally, there's a huge demand of IT jobs, anything you can do online. A lot of companies move their business online, but unfortunately also a lot of companies now do the firings of people. So I would say IT jobs, it has been for a while and it still is, yeah.
I agree with that, because for some reason in the Czech Republic it's a huge hub for IT companies, and we have plenty of good companies, like you probably know the Avast company, which is the protection software for computers. That's a Czech company, and there are many companies based in here. Many, for example, game developers are based in Prague. So for IT, there is a huge demand for good people, and Czech Republic cannot provide that many experienced people. So companies from the IT field tend to bring people from all around the world, because we don't only work with private clients, we also work with companies. And we've been bringing companies into the IT field from India, Ukraine, South America, North America as well, from basically all around the world, and companies are really desperate to find people like that. So definitely IT is a good business to be in.
Yeah, now Madhu is giving us a comment that huge demand for IT jobs for sure, but most of them ask Czech language for sure. Actually, that's a very good point. They actually don't. There's a lot of companies here that their official language is English, so they don't. Not even for IT jobs. There's a lot of customer support. You know, we have these big companies like, I don't know, Amazon, Accenture,
ExxonMobil.
yeah, all other ones. Sorry, just flipped my mind right now. And we work with them, and they don't even require having Czech language. They usually require English plus Spanish or Dutch or German or some other language, Spanish. So usually the Czech language isn't even required. So and especially in IT jobs, sometimes they just, even if it's a Russian company, they require only Russian and English, for example, or only English. So no, it's not really true. We're happy that it's not, that you don't really need Czech for everything. So yeah. It's a good thing. So when we try it there, even sometimes people would hire, people would hire people for IT jobs, and you don't even need to have high or university degree. You can just have like a course. For example, there is this company, it's called Bootcamp Prague. Maybe they have like a bigger name too, and they have these courses that run different amount of time. But sometimes it's enough even for people to have this course and to be ready for work, and people would get hired right away. So the demand is huge, especially if you have experience in it, and you don't even need to speak Czech. Of course, if you speak Czech, it will open you more places elsewhere. But really, the Czech Republic has evolved over the past 10 years a lot, and there's a lot of companies that don't even require Czech anymore.
Yep. Give it another question there. Okay, we'll get to the question in a second. So, Hero, Maya, thank you very much for commenting.
Yeah, this is exactly it's exactly what we're gonna cover now. And for Czech too, how to get the business visa, what are the requirements. We will answer you literally right now, so just stay with us.
Okay, so let's go to it. We'll also get to the restaurants topic, which now it's closed now. Okay, so if you want some general idea now, if you want to do business in the Czech Republic, there are basically two ways how to do it. First is that you get a trade license, which is basically just a freelancing license. That's mainly for people like English teachers or IT professionals, people who just work themselves or maybe want to hire one or two helpers for them, but they're not planning on going big and having plenty of employees, just mainly for freelancers and people from either who work from home or online, or these type of jobs. Or the other way is to establish a limited liability company. In the Czech Republic we call it SRO, but basically it's like a limited liability company. That's mainly used for subsidiaries of bigger companies, because to establish the SRO, it used to be very popular 10 years ago. Many advisors back then recommended getting the SRO, mainly for Russian clients or Korean clients as well. They were recommended to get an SRO and apply for the business visa based on the SRO company, the limited liability company. Now it's not really the case. If you're just one person and you just want to do some freelancing job or something that you don't really plan on building a big empire and having plenty of employees, then in most cases the trade license is the best way to go, because it's easy to set it up, it's cheap to set it up, and the taxation is very low. For freelancers, so we actually have pretty low taxation. For the SRO company, it's more complicated to set it up, because now banks introduced rules. You need to, for example, set up a bank account for the company, but banks introduced some rules that it's not really easy to set up a bank account for people from outside of the EU now. It can be very difficult, and it needs to go through a couple departments in each bank. So you can wait a couple weeks just to get an answer from the bank if they will open a bank account for your company or not. It's more expensive, and also the taxation is higher, because in case you have the trade license, all the money you earn is your money, because it's your own business, it's freelancing, self-employed person. So all the money you earn is your money. If you have the SRO company, the limited liability company, all the money you earn are company's money. So you first pay a corporate tax from all the money, sometimes even VAT, depending on the business you're in. And plus, if you want to take the money from the company and like take it yourself as the owner of the company, you need to pay yourself a salary. And from that, you pay taxation for your own salary. So the social security, healthcare, and income tax again. So basically for SRO, you're double taxed and it's more complicated to run it. So if you're just like a single person moving here alone, or you want to just run a small business, then definitely the trade license is way easier, way cheaper, and it will give you less headaches than establishing the company. Also, the checks there, like from the tax office, are more common here, and you need to really have all the documents in order. In the trade license, it's kind of easier to deal with that. We have another question on Instagram.
Are you guys currently working with clients from the USA?
Of course we are. The problem now is that people from the USA are not really allowed to come here, so that's a small complication. But of course, for some reason we've had some some Americans coming here even now if they are officially not allowed to come here. We had a client who drove through like 10 borders from Georgia and no one ever asked her anything. So obviously the rules are kind of like, it's possible to bend them somewhere. So still some Americans came and we work with them here. But in case you cannot get here, it's still possible to work distantly, to work through Skype calls and like to send documents to each other via DHL or something like that. So it's definitely possible to work together even now, and we have some American clients, even though getting them here now without a visa is a bit more complicated because of the limitations of COVID. Okay, one more thing about the trade license and the SRO related to the restaurants. Now, guys, you finally it's here, the restaurant business. Basically, there are two types of trade license. One is so-called unqualified trade license, which means that to work in that particular field, you don't need to have any qualification. So there are 80 different fields of business which are unqualified, from teaching English to IT, to breeding animals, to producing helicopters. There are really a lot of trades which you can include in your trade license, and you don't need to prove any qualification or education. So that's the easy way to set up the trade license, and it's really like 3 to 5 business days. It's like simple. Restaurants and other businesses which can kind of like hurt people if they're not done properly. So for example, also tattooing, because if you don't clean the needles or something properly, you can spread like, I don't know, hepatitis and other illnesses. If you want to have a restaurant and you cannot cook, you can kill people as well. So the fields of business where there is some danger for people falls under the qualified trades of the trade license or under the qualified trade license, and it's more difficult to get such trade license. For the restaurant, in general, you need to prove your education and or some years of experience. So, and if you, for example, even if you have education in hospitality, but it's from some other country than the Czech Republic, then it might be pretty complicated to make sure that your education is equal to the Czech one, and to get the trade license when it's qualified trade is pretty complicated. So how people usually do it, if you, for example, don't have the education and don't have the experience in that field, you would need to find someone who is responsible, who will say and who will sign at the trade license office that they will be responsible for your business. So it's so-called responsible person. Basically, that's someone, usually a Czech person, who has the education or experience in that particular field. So in your case, it would be the restaurant business. So maybe some cook, you know, from other restaurant. And if the person is willing to sign a paper saying, okay, I'm responsible for this business, for this restaurant, if something happens, I'm the one responsible, then you can take such person to the trade license office. And even if you personally don't have the experience, they will accept the other person's experience and education. So this is one way. It's also possible to kind of find people like this selling their experience or knowledge or education online. So you can go online and find someone who's willing to do this for some amount of money. So that's one kind of way to do that. But if you cannot find anyone like that, it might be pretty complicated to even just get the trade license for restaurant business. Then also you need to, because restaurant, there are also like two types of the restaurant business, or like real business related to food. Because if you, for example, don't make the food there, or if you only sell packed food, for example, then you might still fall under the unqualified trade license. It might be easier. If you sell or if you make the food there, then very likely you fall under the qualified trade license, and this might be the first barrier for you to enter in the business. Then, of course, if you want to, that's a different topic, and we are not that experienced in that, because it's like there are plenty of things and it's very complicated. So we've done it like 2-3 times probably for like good clients who needed really like help with that, and we were able to help for some reason.
For good clients, all our clients are good clients.
Yeah, sorry for that. I realized it wasn't good, but okay, never mind. All of you are good. All of you are great. But the thing is that there is a lot of work behind it. If you, for example, want to open a restaurant, the space where you want to open it needs to be mentioned or written in the land register, in the cadastre, as a space for restaurant. If it's, for example, not, if it's just like an office or different type of business space, like shop, for example, you would need to change the purpose of the space, which would be the first very complicated thing to do. And then all the hygienic rules and firefighter rules and everything also changes, and how many toilets you need to have in the restaurant. Everything depends on how many tables you will have there, what kind of food you will be serving. And then, of course, it depends like what you need to have in the kitchen, how it needs to be equipped. Depends on if you work with meat and with no meat. They need to be separated. So like opening a restaurant is pretty complicated. So of course it's possible, but it's good if you find someone who went through the process, maybe some of your friends or other cooks who can help you first with getting the trade license, the qualified one for the hospitality business, and then who can also guide you more through all the hygienic rules there. Yeah, sorry for that.
Yeah, that's about the restaurants and how to open a cafe, restaurants, or work with food, or any other qualified thing. Okay, we have another question from Instagram.
Yes, Amali asks, I would like to work in Czech, but I think getting visa is hard. Isn't it better to make a decision for studying bachelor or master than follow for job? I'm from Iran.
Well, it's a good question too. It's about how to get a visa here in general. It's a more actually, we every month we have our live stream dedicated to a specific topic, and every time it's a different topic, and we'll have another one specifically for different types of visa and what is better, what is not, what is worse. Generally, of course, finding a job when you're still abroad and coming here to work is always complicated. Yeah. So maybe in some way, actually applying for a student visa, coming here and finding a job here, and switching to the employee card or blue card might be easier. Yeah, because of course, if you never seen the country, if the employer never seen you in person, if you have to do a Skype interview and then they have to wait for you and you don't know how long it's gonna take. Maybe yes, maybe applying for a student visa, for example, and coming here and finding a job afterwards might be easier. Yeah, but if you need more information, please drop us a message. We'll be very happy to talk with you, to have a Skype with you, to discuss different visa options for you, to give you some advice. It's always a larger topic to discuss. So just you can either write us to Instagram or Facebook, depending where you're watching, or you can drop us an email at info@movestoprague.com. You can find it in our website, on our Instagram or Facebook information. Okay, it will be much better to just talk to a particular case in person.
Maybe one note to that is that there are kind of, let's say, two types of students, but if you get the proper student visa, meaning that you get enrolled into accredited program of some university accredited by the Ministry of Education, then you have a free access to the labor market as a student, which means that you come here as a student, but you can at the same time work. So maybe from this perspective, to get in the student visa would be good, but you need to make sure that it's like accredited course, that it's not like a language classes or something. Okay.
Yeah, we have a question from Harold Maya. I hope I pronounced it well again. Sorry if I don't. First is that you would like to get your ICHO, which is your identification trade license number, to work as a freelancer in the Czech Republic, and you're the fresh web developer. And then you're asking if we can share the link where we can process the trade license. You know what, we have a blog, I don't know if you know that, but we have a blog where we write how to get things done in a normal way, like in the normal language, not in like going to the Ministry of Interior website or going to the trade license website, but God help us, but we just actually read these things, to process them, and then we just write it in a normal way. So what I'm gonna do for you, Harold, and for anyone who is interested in that too, I will just share a link. Now, unfortunately, I cannot share a link on Instagram right now, but on Facebook, I'm going to write it in their chat, the link to our blog, where it's written how to write your trade license, which document you need, and where we need to go to do that. Or drop us a message after the live stream. We will get back to it and we will discuss it with you in person. Okay? But if you're here already, if you have some type of residency or visa here already, and you want to write your trade license, it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, let me just drop it right now.
Okay, thank you. So now let's get to the topic of how to get the business visa. First of all, business visa is meant for the people who are from outside of the EU and who don't have any EU partners. So for example, if you're from outside of the EU, from the US or from India or from I don't know, Zimbabwe or somewhere, and you don't have any like partner or wife or husband from the EU, and you will be applying for the visa on your own, then the business visa might be the good or the only way if you want to do business in the Czech Republic. So, in general, if you want to apply for the business visa, you need to do it through a Czech embassy in the country of your origin, or in the country where you hold a long-term residence permit or permanent residence permit. So, for example, if you are an Indian, you only can apply for the business visa at the Czech embassy in India. If you're, for example, Indian living in Dubai, you can apply either in India or in United Arab Emirates, but nowhere else. So this applies to most nationalities in the world. But there are some exceptions, for example, Americans, Canadians, Mexicans, Australians, New Zealanders. That's like 40, 50 different nationalities which are allowed to apply for their visas through any Czech embassy in the world. And it always must be done through a Czech embassy. You cannot apply for a business visa in the Czech Republic. So if you already have some residency or some visa in the Czech Republic, it might be possible to switch the purpose of your stay, but you cannot get the business visa here. That would be a completely different topic. So always applying, the first application must go through a Czech embassy in the country of your origin or in the country where you hold a long-term residence permit or permanent residence permit, unless you are your nationality is one of the 40 or 50, with the exception that you can apply anywhere in the world. Okay, to make the process even more confusing and complicated, some embassies introduced quotas, which means like limitations in the number of people who can apply for the business visa every year. We have the table here. Again, if you wish, drop us a message. We'll be happy to let you know the quotas for different embassies. Just to give you some ideas, so for example, Baku, Azerbaijan, only 12 people can apply for a business visa every year. In Belgrade, that's 100 people who can apply for the business visa a year. yeah, in Moscow, 100 people a year can apply for the business visa. In India, it's 24 people. So if you're an Indian, one of 1.3 billion country, and you want to get a business visa for the Czech Republic, you will basically compete with all the people for 24 spots a year. So in some countries, it's more difficult to apply for the business visa and get the business visa. So if you want to know if it's possible to apply and how many spots are there at your embassy in the country of your origin, let us know. We'll be happy to let you know the number or send you the link and everything. Yeah, but basically then it works the way that if you say, hey, okay, I want to get the business visa for the Czech Republic, so then there is basically a list of documents which you need to get. Once you complete them all, you take them to the Czech embassy in the country of your origin or somewhere else, depending on your nationality. Submit the documents to the embassy, and you go through an interview. For the business visa, there is usually an interview where the officers ask you about your motivation to do business and if you already have any clients here and where will be your offices and all this. If you pass it, then they take the whole file of documents, and the embassy sends the documents to the Czech Republic, to the Ministry of the Interior, who will be making the decision. Because it's also common that people think that the embassy is processing the visa. It's not like that. Embassies are only responsible for short-term visas. So if you want to come here for a business for up to 90 days, for like a short-term stay, then yes, then the embassy would be responsible for that. But that's a completely different sphere of business because it's governed by different laws and it falls under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and embassies make decisions right there. We are more talking now about the long-term option for the long-term visa if you want to move here for business purposes, not just like visit for a couple days or a couple weeks, but if you want to move here yourself or with your family and base your business in the Czech Republic. That's the whole session is about this long-term business visa, not short-term visas. All right.
Yeah, you just talked briefly about the embassy. Do we have a question from another person here? Again, I'm sorry if I pronounce your names wrong. From Mekalu Mwelu, and the question is: can you apply for student visas from any embassy? Again, this is something we just discussed a few moments ago. I don't know if you had the possibility or to hear it, but depends on your nationality and depends on the embassy too. Not all embassies issue visas and not all embassies have consular department in there. You can only apply for a visa in those embassies that have consular department in them and that specifically take appointments for visas. And then if you are a citizen of the countries that can only apply in their own countries, well, you can only apply in your own countries. There's an exception of a few countries that can apply anywhere in the world, but again, it means you can apply anywhere in the world at the embassy where they issue visas, so in the consular. Because sometimes, for example, in Europe, there's embassies of the Czech Republic in Italy and in France, but they don't issue visas. It's just for Czech citizens abroad. And that's why you have to go to some other consular department which is responsible for your area. If you share maybe a little bit more details, I could tell you something more exact about that.
Yeah, maybe one more think about that now. We also mentioned that in the beginning that now some embassies are still closed and you cannot apply because of the COVID situation. So some embassies are closed and you cannot apply for anything, any type of visa. Some embassies are fully operational, so you can apply for the student visa there or for any type of visa. And third group of embassies are the ones which are partially open, which means that you can apply there for some types of visas. And in general, student visa is among them. So in general, if you're also maybe asking about this part of the question, like if embassies are processing visas now, depends on the embassy, but if the embassy is at least partially operating, usually the student visa can be applied for.
One more question about student visas.
Mm-hmm.
How many hours we can work by students' visas certainly? In the first month we can work or we have to wait after several months? Sorry, interrupting the subject.
Well, we already started talking about student visas anyway, right? I mean, like, we always have a topic and then people just ask questions, which is great.
Yep.
So we can at least, you don't hear about all the same stuff all the time. So it used to be the way that you could only work like 20 hours a week, but it's already in the past. Now you can work as many hours as you want to a week, as soon as you still fulfill your main requirements or your main purpose of your stay. So if you're a student and you have a student visa or student residency permit, you have it is really a student visa. It's not a visa type other. You really are studying in the Czech university. Then you have free access to labor market, and you can work anytime you want, how much you want, as soon as you fulfill your purpose of stay. So as soon as you still go to university, still do your exams, you're still present, that you didn't switch to distant studying, that you're still studying, going to school normally. So as soon as it's like this, you should not worry.
Yep.
Hope it answers your question then.
Okay, so let's now go through the documents you will need for the business visa. Guys, can we share the link to our blog about the business visa?
Yeah, we already did.
We did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, guys, go to our chat. If you want to now follow what we were saying, go to our chat. Daria already shared the link to the business visa process and required documents. So we'll go through that right now. We'll go through the documents one by one, and we'll always tell you what's important to know about that, because there are a couple of things which are kind of tricky. So let's go through that one by one. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So the first thing, easy thing to get is the application form. So if you're applying for a business visa, you need to fill in a form. The form is like in Czech and English. There is nothing really much confusing about that. So that's easy. You can either download it from our website, or you can download it from the website of the Ministry of the Interior, or you can get in touch with us and we'll be happy to send you the form. That's easy. Then you need to have your passport. Your passport should not be older than 10 years. It should be valid for at least 1.5 more years, because officially it needs to be valid at least 3 months after your visa expires, and the maximum validity of the visa is 1 year. So at least like 15 months, plus you need to count with some processing time and getting all the documents together. So at least 1.5 years should be in your validity of your passport when you're applying for the business visa. If it's not, then the ministry will shorten the visa accordingly, which, it's just get a new passport and you can get the visa for the full time. Another thing is that the passport should have at least 2 blank pages, because the business visa is basically just a sticker in your passport and one big red stamp from the foreign police on the other page. So you need to have at least 2 blank pages in the passport. Then you need to get passport size photos too. That's basically the standard photo you use for any official purposes. Just be careful, there is a specified size which the photos need to have. For example, Americans have higher photos, so you need to just cut it a bit to make sure it fits the Czech requirements.
Yeah, I think it's like the least of people's concern against photos, but you would laugh, but people take it very seriously in the ministry. They wouldn't accept applications unless there's like a precise photo. So already we're talking about it. Don't wear any glasses, any hats, any masks on your photo. Don't smile with your teeth, and have a white background, and the photo itself has to be 3.5 to 4.5 centimeters.
Okay. Good details. Then one very tricky part of one of the trickiest documents you need for the business visa is a proof of accommodation. For those of you who can come to the Czech Republic and who can apply for the visa through some Czech embassy in Europe. So for example, Americans, because Americans have the visa-free stay, the 90 days visa-free stay, so Americans are allowed to come to the Czech Republic for 90 days. And they're also in among the countries which have the exception that they can apply for their visas through any Czech embassy in the world, not only in the country of their origin. So for those of you like Americans, Canadians, Australians, Mexicans, some other nationalities, you can actually come here, or how people usually do it is that you come here, you find a place to live, you rent an apartment, and then you use your lease agreement as your proof of accommodation. So there is nothing like complicated about that. If you're from a country from like where you're not allowed to come here without a visa. So again, for example, if you're from India and you're applying for the business visa, you still need to get a proof of accommodation. But how you can do it if you're in India and you need to find accommodation in Prague or in the Czech Republic in general. It's very complicated, but the ministry still requires that. So ideally, you can either try to search for a flat distantly, which in some cases might work, but it's usually like not that successful. It's complicated. Good second option would be having a friend who already lives here and who would sign a lease agreement with you, or who owns apartment and who would sign a document saying that you will be able to live in their apartment. That's the second best option. Then there is a third option, which is so-called virtual proof of accommodation. Basically, you just pay someone to give you the proof of accommodation you need for your visa, but we definitely don't recommend using this. Because if the ministry, I know it's stupid, because you cannot come here and you still need to find a flat, you need to start paying the rent, and then you even don't know if you get the visa and when you will get the visa, but it's the requirement of the ministry. So many companies started doing virtual proofs of accommodation, and basically you just pay them to give you the paper you need. It used to work a bit differently in the past, and it wasn't that problematic, but now recently the ministry started checking everything in details, and if they find out that you've been using the virtual proof of accommodation, they can deny your visa application, and that would not be good. So virtual proof of accommodation is not really recommended unless it's the very, very last option. So ideally you should come here, find a flat, start renting it, and use the lease agreement for your business visa, or if you have some friend who lives here and who is willing to help with that, that could work as well. But the virtual proof of accommodation, better don't do that.
A question?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Navi 12 asks, what is the visa procedure for an Indian who is already working in Slovakia?
Well, basically the same. The only benefit is that you can apply from Slovakia. As soon as you already reside in Slovakia, it gives you a chance to apply from their embassy in Bratislava. So basically the process is the same. It's a great question. Just follow what we're talking about here. It also depends, of course, which visa we're talking about. But your huge benefit is that you don't have to apply from India. You can apply from Slovakia, which means there's much more space, and you don't have to wait to get one of the 12 appointments a year in India. So there's much more spots there. I think there was even no quotas in Slovakia, as soon as I know. So the process is the same, but huge benefit is that you can apply from there.
Yep. Good. Thank you for the question. Then the next document you need for the business visa is proof of funds. You basically need to prove that even if you don't have any business in the beginning, you will be able to survive for the first year. There is some calculation of how much money you need to get, it's based on something, but the important thing is just the amount you need to show, and that's equivalent to 124,000 crowns and 124,500 crowns. Sorry. So let's say 125,000 crowns. You can either show it in Czech crowns if you're, for example, already in the Czech Republic, as an American, for example, using your 90 days visa-free stay. You can open a Czech bank account and you can have the money in Czech crowns. Or if you're not here and you're using your foreign bank account, that's fine as well. But whatever currency you have in the bank account, it always needs to be at least equivalent to this amount of money. And it's always better to have a bit more because the exchange rate changes, it can drop, it can be higher. So it's not good to have like exactly the amount which you need, and it's better to have slightly more just to cover any possible exchanges or changes in the exchange rate. Okay, then the next document is basically one of the most important documents. The document you need If you're a freelancer, if you're self-employed, you usually go for the trade license. So you need to have the trade license ready. We've discussed that. We've discussed the two different types of trade license in the beginning, like the qualified one, unqualified one. So based on your business plan, let's say, based on what you want to do here, if you want to teach English or breed animals or to open a restaurant, then you need to have the trade license with the trades related to your business. So if you want to open a restaurant, you need to have the restaurant field of business in your trade license. If you want to teach English, you need to have teaching English in your trade license. Plus, and that's the most important basically part of the whole process, you need to be able to prove that you will have some clients in the Czech Republic, that you have some work lined up, and that you will be really earning money here. Used to be the way that if you were, for example, an American and you said, hey, I want to teach English in the Czech Republic, no one even asked you any questions, and they said, okay, that's fine. That was easy. But some time ago, the ministry started checking everything properly, and even for English teachers, for example, they started requiring letters of interest from different schools, saying, okay, that once you get your business visa, we'll be happy to hire you as a teacher for our school. And what they also started doing, they started calling the schools. If you already have the letters, you have like 2 or 3 schools interested in hiring you once you get the visa. The ministry started calling the schools. So they call them or send them an email and saying, hey, do you know this person? Will the person will be working for you, teaching English for you? So they verify this information. And it's kind of easy if you're an English teacher, because there is, or used to be definitely before COVID, now as we discussed in the beginning as well, it's slightly different. But still, if you're an English teacher, if you're an experienced English teacher, if you have the TEFL certification or some other education in that field, many schools will hire you, many schools will give you the letters you need. So it's relatively simple. But if you, for example, getting back to the restaurant, if you, for example, wanted to open a restaurant and you don't have any visa yet, it would be way more complicated. Because when you go to the embassy, if you just tell them, hey, I got a trade license, I have the restaurant business in the trade license, and I want to open a restaurant in Prague, that would not be enough for them. They would ask you, okay, where the restaurant will be located, what you will be serving, what will be the prices, where you will like advertise your restaurant. Will you be working with Wolt or Danmeidlo or Uber Eats is no longer here. So if you wanted to open a restaurant, for example, and apply for the business visa based on that, you would really need to have either a very, very good business plan with all the menus and prices and everything, or most likely you would even need to have the restaurant space. Basically everything would need to be ready for the restaurant to start operating, and the only thing you would be waiting for is the visa. Because we've seen this in the past, and we have a client from Russia who bought a restaurant here, and the restaurant had like a manager and like 8 employees, and it was in a shopping mall, and the ministry basically denied his business visa application because they told him that the restaurant is operational without his presence, so why he needs the business visa. And
yeah, so be prepared, but don't be over prepared. Okay, so it's very important for you to tell them during the interview, to make them feel like not only that your idea is great and it's going to work, but that you need to be present here in order to do that. Okay, because another client also tried to do an app. It was a great idea, it was an app, also food related, but they also said, well, it's a great idea, it's running, it's great, but you don't need to be here in order to run an app. We can do it from anywhere from the world. Okay, and sometimes, for example, we have inquiries like, I'm a copywriter, I can write from any place in the world, but I would like to reside in Prague. How do I get a business visa? That's exactly the trick. You can't just go to the embassy and say you can write from anywhere else, but you would like to reside here, even though it makes sense to us, it makes sense to any normal person, it doesn't make sense to the ministry. Yeah. And even the argument, even the point that you'll be spending money here, paying taxes, invoice, it doesn't really care, it doesn't really bother them. So you need to prove that not only your idea is great and you thought this through and you have people to cooperate with, you need to prove that you need to be here physically in order to do your job. Okay, so maybe there are people you need to meet presently every day, or your idea is directly connected to Prague, or well, the Czech Republic. This is what you will need to prove a lot. So it's either also you can do it with the letters of interest, maybe some contract for the future cooperation. It could be a business plan, but something that would really show that you need to be here and present in order to do that.
Yep.
Yeah. And also when you do, maybe there is like a slight advice on that. People who is taking a look at your application, there's always one person taking care of your application. There are usually people in the ministry that are far from new technological ideas, so try to keep it very simple for them for people to understand. So they don't really. So the idea has to be very, very short, very clear, and simply written.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Also, maybe I don't know if you mentioned it, but if you arrange a trade license, you first need to arrange a trade license which is not activated in case you don't need it. You don't have a visa yet. You apply with it, but then you have only 6 months to activate your trade license with a visa. So officially, it takes them 90 to 120 days to decide on your application. It can take longer, but make sure your trade license doesn't run out. And in case it does, arrange a new one right away, because what can happen is that they will take a look at your application, they will run your name online for the trade license, and don't see you there just one day, your visa is going to be denied. So make sure you activate your trade license with the visa and don't let your trade license expire.
Yep, good point. Then the rest, basically just the health insurance, but you will only need to get the health insurance once your visa is approved. And there are 2 documents which are officially on demand, so you officially would not need to present it at the embassy, but basically one of them is always required, and that's the criminal check from the country of your origin, and officially also from all the countries where you have lived for longer than 6 months in the last 3 years. So if you're, for example, American, but you lived in Korea for 1 year, then you will need to present criminal check from the US and from Korea as well, officially. So that's officially on demand, but the ministry basically always requests it, so it's better to have it anyway. And anyway, you need to get the criminal check to get your trade license as well. So the criminal check will basically be needed in any case. And the last document which is on demand is a medical check, but we've only seen that demand from the ministry like once in 8 years. Basically, if you're coming from a country where there is at the moment some like huge disease spread, the ministry could request confirmation that you don't suffer from this concrete disease. So it's not something like that they would be checking your health and if you're in good condition or something, but you don't have like a particular disease.
Yeah, it's not related to COVID. They don't require any medical check. If you are from the country where COVID is spread more, it's not about that. So you don't really, it's extremely rare. Almost nobody is asked for it.
Yep.
Okay.
True.
Yeah. We have actually a question now from Maria Vranova. Thank you for tuning in. Question: is there a need for TESOL, CELTA, TEFL certifications to be proved to be legit if these certifications were acquired outside of Czech Republic? So if you mean during the interview in the embassy, then no. Basically, you can bring them with you. They will ask you during the interview if you have any kind of TEFL or CELTA certification. You can say yes, here it is. You don't need to notarize it, you don't need to translate it, you don't need to prove it's legit. They usually don't really require to see it. They usually ask you, well, if you happen to have it with you, like say, yes, I have it here, I did it here, I did it here. Yeah, so no special need for that. As soon as you have it from any TAF, anywhere from the world, it's already good.
Yeah, this is usually more important for the schools maybe you will be teaching for, because particular schools might require particular certifications or something, but for the visa process it's not that important. It's more important to show that you already have some schools interested in hiring you, and if they hire you based on your certification or TEFL, whatever, or if they hired you because you have like 20 years of experience, it's not that important for the ministry. It's more important for them that you already found some jobs and that you have schools which are interested in you.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have time for other questions? We have quite a few here. And I
Okay.
promise we're going to answer them. Okay. Another question about the food processing license. What is the food processing license for the food business? How can I get it? Where can I have the food processing license? And a friend advised it can be issued in the hospital, right?
Those are probably two different things. Because one thing is the trade license, which is the license allowing you to run business in the hospitality field, in restaurant business. For getting the trade license, you need to prove that you either have education or experience or both in that particular field. So that would be two for you to even like start. Then there is another thing which is, I don't know how it's called.
I think it's a hygienic certificate.
Yeah, hygienic certificate, which says that you're healthy enough to deal with food. And that might be, this is really like a very complicated topic, and we're not like expert in this field, so we'll be happy to find out if you get in touch after the session. We'll have to find out.
But yeah, usually you do it in a hospital. I don't know if you have a general practitioner here. It's the best to ask them. Just go to them and say that you need the certificate, and then they will send you for some tests, and they will tell you exactly where to do it. But yes, you're doing this in the hospital.
Yeah, those are two different things.
Yeah. Then we have a question from Jean. I promised that I will answer him in 10 minutes. It's been a little longer. I hope, Jean, you're still with us. What are the requirements to retire in the Czech Republic? Are there any incentives? So I didn't know this word, so I googled it, and it means that if you have any benefits or supports from the government. Retirement in the Czech Republic is not it's not like retirement in other European countries. So there is no such thing as a retirement visa. This is something we need to tell you in advance. So you cannot, you always have to have a purpose of your stay here, which it can be employment, studying, business. But retirement is not one of those. So in case you need to retire, you can apply, theoretically you could apply for the purpose which is called other, but it's very subjective. We advise not to do this. It's extremely, they don't really know what other means exactly. Especially there are no benefits from the country at all. Like they will not pay anything, and even if you say I'm gonna spend my money here, I'm gonna pay taxes and everything, not something they are interested in. So in case you want to move here, you really need to have some purpose of stay. In case you would like to retire somewhere, a lot of southern countries do that. They're like specifically have like retirement visa. A lot of people go to Portugal, Spain, Italy, Greece. I think that Malta has a program for this. There are other countries, but not the Czech Republic, unfortunately.
Yeah, the thing is, there used to be a way how to do that. Usually just people, mainly from the US, prove that they high enough income from the social security and maybe from their funds, so that they had high enough income to live in the Czech Republic. So they usually just wrote a letter explaining why they love the Czech Republic and why they want to retire here, and that they have enough funds to do that. But this used to be accepted like 2-3 years ago maybe by the ministry. Then they stopped accepting it, saying that if you like the Czech Republic, you can come here using your 90 days, the visa-free stay, and you don't really need to have long-term visa. So you can come for 90 days, leave for 90 days, come for 90 days. So basically this is no longer such option. Yeah, so sorry for that, but unfortunately it's not an official option in the Czech Republic. So the business visa might be a good option for you as well, to like teach part-time for some schools, get the business visa, earn enough to be able to extend your stay here, but like retirement visa unfortunately does not really exist in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, so other questions we have. I would like to know if I can apply for a trade license with the 17P visa. Is the MOI will authorize me to work? It's the question from Pamela.
Hi Pamela, thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, the trade license, that's actually a good question. We are more focused on the business visa now, but the trade license questions are good. So, basically you can get the trade license with any type of visa. So even if you have a student visa, or if you have the family reunification visa, or if you have a different type of visa, you can always get a trade license. The trade license just will always have the same validity as your visa. So you need to be careful about that, because if you get the trade license right before your visa expires, so you'll get the trade license, for example, for 2 months, and you need to, along with your visa, you need to extend your trade license as well. Otherwise it will expire and you will need to get it again. But yes, it's possible. Whatever type of long-term visa you have, you can always get a trade license, and that's not a problem, as long as you still keep the purpose of your stay. So if your stay is family reunification, then you should mainly be reunited with your family. And if you manage to do a side business, that's fine. If you manage to do something else, it's fine, but you should always stick to the purpose of your stay, the main one, the one which you have in your visa residence permit.
Okay. Another question, when will New Delhi India Embassy will open? Any idea? Unfortunately, we have no idea. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs doesn't really announce things like from this date, this and this is gonna work, or this embassy is gonna open, or they do it the way like from today, this embassy works. So unfortunately, there is no way to know. Delhi is still in the, like, one of the, unfortunately, the worst COVID cases in the world, so unfortunately it's still closed. So it's not even, there are 3 categories of embassies: the ones that are completely closed, the ones that are partially open, and the ones are fully opened. I will show you also the link from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so you can check it yourself from the official source which embassies work and which embassies are still closed. If you just give me a second, I will just show it. I will share it to the chat too.
Yeah, basically it's not only about the Czech Republic, because of course embassies fall under the Czech Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but they make their decisions about what embassies they open and what embassies stay closed based on the situation in that particular country. So they usually start opening embassies in those countries where the COVID cases are lower, or where there is a small risk of getting sick. So the Czech embassy in India will open when the situation in India will get better. So unfortunately, that's not that much about the Czech side. It's also about the other side. So as long as cases of COVID are increasing or are on the same level in India, I'm afraid that it will still be closed. If the cases drop a bit, and if the number of cases starts getting lower, then they will very likely at least partially reopen, and hopefully soon they will reopen completely, but it depends on the situation in the country.
Yeah. Another question, hello, is it possible to get visa from Poland? No, we don't really know what you mean exactly. If you mean if it's possible to get a Polish visa, unfortunately we don't really deal with Polish visas. If you ask that you are now in Poland and you would like to come here, yes, it is possible to get a visa from Poland. There is an embassy there in Warsaw where you can apply for a visa. So yes, it's possible to get it from Poland. Then, is it possible to change my student visa to business visa? We have a question from David. It is, but unfortunately, if you want to change to a business visa, business residency in the territory of the Czech Republic, you need to wait 5 years of living here in order to change it. What you could do, you could let your student visa expire and then apply for a business visa. But if you want to switch to business purpose from any other kind of purpose apart from the family one, you would need to wait 5 years.
Or there is another option basically, which is new, that if you finish your studies, if you study, bachelor's for example for 3 years, and you finish your studies and you want to set up your own business, there is a new type of residence permit called job seeker visa, or also like starting your own business type of visa, which gives you extension for 9 or 10 months.
Yeah.
And then it can have the purpose of business, and from that you can switch to the business long-term residence permit. But if you don't finish your studies, you can only switch after 5 years.
Okay. Yeah, we have another comment from Marian that we answered before. Currently living in Czechia for about 5 years. In the past, I have lived in other countries. Am I required to still acquire criminal record documents from the past countries, or is it the Czech police record sufficient to provide an applying for an Notensky list? It depends what kind of residency you have now. It depends if you have permanent residency. You don't need to inquire it from all other countries you lived in. You will need one from the Czech register, but they can find it out themselves at the trade license office. But you will need one from your country of origin. It doesn't matter how long you haven't been living there. It doesn't unfortunately matter at all. In case you have permanent residency, it's not required. But if you have any other kind of residency, you are required to have criminal record from your country of origin. And if it requires an apostola or legalization, you have to do this, and you have to translate it officially into Czech language. It depends where you're from. If you could tell us what is your nationality, maybe it will help you.
Yeah, because for some nationalities it's easier. For example, Americans can get the criminal check done in the Czech Republic. Basically, it's not even a criminal check. It's basically just you go to your embassy, you swear that you're a good person, and they give you the document you need. For some nationalities, you can request the criminal check through your embassy. In some countries, or for some nationalities like Canadians, for example, it's a very complicated process where you need to get your fingerprints done, get them sent to Canada, get the criminal check done there, you need to super legalize it, then you send it here, translate it officially into Czech. So it depends on your nationality a lot.
Yeah. I think these are all the... Oh, Philippines. Yeah, so you will need to get it from Philippines then. Yeah, you will need to get your background check from Philippines and have it officially translated here. We'll need to see if it requires an apostle or super legalization. Drop us a message, we'll take a look at it. And if you don't have a permanent residency, you'll have to have a background check. But if you live here already for 5 years, depends which kind of residency or visa you had before. But if you live here already 5 years, you could potentially apply for a permanent residency, and then you can arrange for which you don't need background check, and then when you apply for trade license, you don't need background check again. Sometimes the embassies would issue the background check too. You don't have to go to Philippines to require it. Sometimes the embassy would help you too. So try asking the embassy here or in the surrounding countries to see if maybe they can help you with that.
I have another question from Rajesh.
From Rajesh. Hi, is it possible to do business in the Czech Republic using temporary residency permit of Portugal based on business in Portugal? I have to open a new company in Czech and can operate on my Portuguese company.
Okay, there are a couple scenarios for that. If you want to get the trade license, unfortunately you would need to have permanent residency in Portugal to be able to get a trade license in the Czech Republic, like active trade license, because you could get a trade license regardless, but it would be exactly as described when we were going through the documents, that you would only get the temporary trade license for 6 months, which would not be active unless you bring a valid visa for the Czech Republic. So if you want to run a business but you don't really want to move to the Czech Republic and you wanted to get the trade license, you would need to have a permanent residency and a status of long-term resident in the EU from Portugal. In that case it would be possible. If you only have the temporary residency, then unfortunately it's not possible. Another option though is to set up the limited liability company, the SRO company, and that's possible to do even if you don't have any residency in the Czech Republic or in the EU. Even if you've never been here, you can still set up an SRO company and start operating your business. So that's basically one of the advantages of having the SRO company, that the company can be active right away when you get it, and you don't even need to have a residency or visa for the Czech Republic. So if you wanted to do this, that's possible, but getting the SRO company, as we mentioned, it's pretty challenging, I would say.
Okay, and we have a question from Murat. I live and work in Czechia with blue card. First, can I get trade license and also work myself? Yes, you can. Mm-hmm. You can get a trade license and work yourself. Better yet, you will not pay so much social security and health insurance because you're going to be covered by the government at least for the few months or a year. So it's benefit. You just have to tell the social security and health insurance that you're also employed, but they should also see it there in case your company actually announces to these offices that you also are employed.
And you definitely need to keep your job because the purpose, your residence permit is blue card, which is based on your job. So if you leave the job and you decide to do just the business, then the employee card, the blue card will be cancelled. So you definitely need to keep the job, but as long as you keep the job, you can have the trade license as a side activity for sure.
Yeah. And the second question, if I get the trade license, is it enough to import some products from non-Turkey and sell here, or another procedure is needed like building a company? Thanks for your help. I think you can do it with the trade license.
Yeah, it depends. You need to have the particular trade in your trade license, and I believe like important things is one of the unqualified trades, so it's fine. So from the trade license perspective and setting up the business, there is no problem with that. But then important things to the EU might be subject of some other regulations. You know, if you, for example, wanted to bring food, you might need to get some certifications that the food is safe and that you can sell it in the EU. So it depends on what exactly you would be importing. But in general, from the trade license perspective, I believe that import-export is in the unqualified trade, so you won't need to prove any education or qualification, so that you can do that. But about the particular things you need to do if you want to transport here or import here some like particular things, it might need some more research, because if it's something which is under some regulations like food and stuff like that, it might be it might require some additional registrations or something.
Yeah, guys, we're already finishing now. Let us know if you have any questions. If it was clear, if you have any other questions left, anyway, you can write us here on Facebook. You can drop us a message. We'll be very happy to get back to you. We'll try to get back to everyone within 24 hours. We get really a lot of messages and emails. Otherwise, drop us an email at info@movetoprague.com. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna drop another link with contacts, how to contact us, and also we have an online chat on our website, which you can also use, and you can chat with our experts there. I cannot promise you 24/7 because sometimes we don't need to sleep, but we try to be there as much as we can.
Yeah. So do we have any more questions? Thanks indeed for your help. Thank you very much, Murat. Happy it was helpful. These sessions are for you. So as you see, we have some general topic we go through, but we also reply your messages directly, and we explain the things that you are interested in. So we are happy that you're writing us, we are happy that you're interacting, that you joined, and we'll be doing more sessions like that, free immigration advice. Every month from now till January, we'll be having those sessions. It's always on Thursday, this time, 5 to 6:30. So please join us the next time for the next topics, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you so much for your great words. Oh yeah, Mara just found a permanent resident here. You see, if you have permanent residency here, you don't need the background check. So it's easy. Anyway, you can write us an email, write us here, and we'll be very happy to just take your every case individually and just advise you individually on every case. Yeah, and then if you need, for example, the quotes for our services or anything, we will be also very happy to send you ones. We got a lot of questions about it right now, so we'll be very happy to send it to you and to send exactly what exactly we can help you with.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much again, guys. It was lovely speaking with you, and hopefully.
Thank you. Yeah, our next one is gonna be soon. Our next live stream is gonna be next month around the same time. Stay tuned. You can like our page. We will create another event. You can also participate there, and it's gonna be about other topics. It's about extension of visa. Yeah, extension of visa, prolongation of the visa.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So drop us a message, and we'll be very happy to answer you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
all your support.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, and you, the person you didn't see here, actually have two people here, to our lovely colleagues here you couldn't see. Yeah, one is here. Yeah, so they were helping with us all this time. So thank you also, ladies, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Bye bye.